Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Reselling Insights with Dave and Lori, or Lori and Dave, depending on who says it, which is brought to you by eBliss, where you could get fulfillment for your reselling items starting at $5 an item. So, Laura, welcome. I know we have a busy episode, and you did a lot of homework for this
Oh,
one.
yes. I did a lot of homework to hopefully explain or not explain, but take the mystery out of the 1099K, which is everybody's favorite subject, taxes. Uh, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to explain basically what that is. And then later on, Dave, you're going to show us some fun things that you found this
Mhm.
week in your haul. So we'll get right to it. So, as you know, there's been a lot of talk in the news and in reselling circles about the 1099 because they just changed the reporting thresholds recently for next year. Now, it shouldn't apply for for 2021, it should not apply. But for 2022, if you sold more than $600 on a platform, you're now going to get a 1099K. Previously, that threshold was much higher. It was $20,000 and
Mm.
200 transactions. So,
Mhm.
if you were a full-time reseller, we've gotten them for years. We don't even, doesn't even make a difference to us. But if you were somewhere in between there, this might be all new to you. So, and everybody's always confused as to what exactly this 1099 number is, what it consists of. So I decided, let's look at it. Let's just break it down, and I'm going to also show you, if you haven't kept really good records and you need to have this information for your taxes, where you can find that information on eBay. Now, just to clarify, this is the eBay 1099. All platforms will give you one if required, but we're just going to talk about the eBay one. So first of all, what does a 1099 look like? This is a redacted version of one. So you can see that it basically gives you your information, and it's going to break it down by month. It's going to show exactly what the numbers were here, and I'm going to get into that in a second, but it's by month, and it's also a total for the year. So this is what you'll receive in the mail, or either on your platform, or both if you've chosen that. So what is the 1099? What does it consist of? I have to bring up a different screen here, so bear with me. Sorry.
This disclaimer, this is not tax or legal advice.
Definitely not.
What we are doing is actually we're just talking about the 1099K form. That's it. And
Right.
we're really going to focus on one box in particular. Is that correct, Laura? The box
Yes, it's the
1A?
total. It's the box that I just showed you before. It's the total.
Yeah.
They break it down by month, which is nice, but you really need to be concerned with the total. So what is included? Now, this screenshot I took here is directly from the eBay website. So it's like the horse's mouth. So as you can see, it is the gross amount of all reportable payment transactions with a calendar year. And it does not include any adjustments, credits, discounts, fees, refunds, or other adjustable amounts. And it also, if you notice down here, does not include any sales tax when it's automatically collected and remitted by eBay. And I added a little note here that it does include shipping charges paid by buyers. So keep that in mind. So what does that mean for you? This means that the number that you have on that piece of paper is not necessarily going to be the number that you use as an income amount. As a matter of fact, it should not be. So this is just what eBay collected in payments, a gross number, excluding taxes. That's it. It's very simple if you think of it that way. Now, that there's really not a lot of mystery about it as long as you understand that that's what it is. Now, in order to make it sense for you, you have to know some other information. And I'm going to share another screen here. Just bear with me again. Here, let's see. So, the information you also do need to know, which is not included on the 1099, but is very important for you to know, are these three things. All your fees, and this includes final value fees, promoted listing fees, insertion fees, store fees, any fee that you're basically paying to eBay, basically, is all your fees. You need to have that number, okay? Second thing is what you were charged for shipping labels. Now, sometimes that's on through eBay, sometimes it's not. It doesn't really matter. You need to have that number as well. And then the third thing is how much money you gave away or gave back in refunds in terms of returns and such. So these are the three things that are not incorporated into that 1099K number, but you do need to know. So, and I'm going to show you how to find that information.
I was going to say, so that the information that you're going to bring on now is not on the 1099K. So you have to go to eBay, right?
Correct.
And find these things. Okay.
Yes.
So
Right, sorry. Go ahead.
No, and so is this this has always been the case, or is this kind of new with eBay within the last year?
I don't think it's new. I think this is a standard thing that the IRS expects from them as a platform of doing transactions. Okay, so it's not new at all. What is new and different for us is now that most of this stuff is netted out. In the past, eBay would give you pretty much all the money that you sold or they collected for a sale, with the exception of the sales tax, and then they would invoice you for their fees. So, and then you would pay them back. So it was very easy and very, it was very straightforward to figure out what your expenses were because you were paying them. It was like it was an easy way to keep track. Now, not the fact that they're netting it out makes it a little bit more challenging in that fact. And it doesn't actually help either that the netting started after March of last year. So for the first 3 months,
Oh gosh, wow.
it was one way. After that, it was a different way. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting tax conversation. But anyway, to find this information on eBay, you basically will go to the payments tab and click reports. And I'm going to walk through it with you to show you how to do it. It's very interesting. It's very pertinent to mention that there are two places on eBay where you can see reports, and that's why it gets really confusing. But this is under the payments tab. You go under payments tab, click reports, and then you hit transactions, and then you choose the transaction type. Then you choose the date range, and then it will bring up a spreadsheet of all that information. It's actually pretty cool. I would highly recommend doing this monthly and not doing it at once at the end of the year. It just makes it a lot easier. And then in addition, if you do it monthly, you can sort of see trends and things like that. So, but if you've skipped doing this all year, you can certainly do it by at the end of the year. So I'm going to share that screen as well. See here.
So while you're doing that, just to emphasize, people get their 1099K from whatever platform, but we're looking at eBay today.
Right.
Some people have a tendency to see what's in that first box, which is box 1A on their 1099K, and they think that's how much I made on eBay. And what you're bringing to their attention, and what they should know, and their accountant should know, is that's not really what you earned.
Definitely not.
Yeah, right. But some people may be, not aware of that. So you could get into it here. So once again, what we're doing is we are just summarizing, taking that box 1A and breaking out exactly what it's comprised of.
Right.
Correct?
And
Okay.
as I mentioned, it is basically all the gross transactions that eBay managed for you that they took in. And it includes everything except for taxes. So that's the only number that's not included in that number. So sales tax, sorry, yes. And it doesn't account for refunds. It doesn't account for any fees you paid. It doesn't account for, the expenses that you really have to take off that number. And that's why it's important to have good accounting habits. So, okay, so here you can see this is actually the eBay account that I manage. You would, like I said, you go to the payments tab and see, this is why it's confusing. See, there's a reports tab. That's not the one you want for this exercise. You want to go to payments and then you click reports. And so here, and I actually learned a lot when I was doing the research for this show, but I'm going to show you right here. It's a transaction report. And so here you would choose whichever one of those sections you wanted, and I guess technically you could do them all at once, but I like to know, how much did we spend in shipping labels, so say you wanted to do that, you would just pick You would unselect. You can see this, right, Dave? You can see me doing
Yeah.
this?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Mhm.
So you would unselect all the ones and then select which one you want to look for. So if you want to find out how much you spent in shipping labels for any time period, that's what you pick. If you wanted to find out what your refunds were, you would pick that one. If you wanted to find out what your fees were, now, interestingly enough, it says other fee and it doesn't say actual final value fees because that's actually someplace else. But for this purpose, it's definitely for shipping labels and refunds. So if say we wanted to find the shipping labels, and this is why I recommend that you do it monthly because you can go back and choose the whole year at a time. I don't know how far back you can go. I don't think it's forever. So that's why it's good to do it monthly, just in case they ever change that. So if you wanted the whole year, you would say January 1st to December 31st. Okay. But let's just pretend we're doing the whole year. I'm not, because if I do it for the whole year, it takes forever. So I'm just going to do like last month. Say I want to find out what did we spend in shipping labels on this account last month, and let's pretend it's the whole year. So will you create this report? Now the thing about this is that it doesn't tell you what you've searched for. So you have to remember what you searched for because it doesn't specifically say that. And so it's making the report. You hit refresh, and eventually it'll be there. And if you do the whole year, it takes a lot longer. So that's why I was just going to do 1 month. Oh, wait a minute. I did 1 day. Why didn't you tell me I did that wrong? I did it for 1 day. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, because I can't see either.
Okay. Well, while you're recouping, just want to say hi to Christy. She's 8 minutes late.
That's
We,
okay.
we waited for you. Don't worry about
Okay,
it.
let me just read
welcome.
this again.
And Shay, hello. Thanks for the breakdown.
Okay.
Totally. I mean,
Sorry about that.
This is once again, this is an eBay thing where people are like, oh man, eBay, this is grueling. But
all right.
You all set?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm going back. I just realized that I did this the other day. So this is how you would do it, but say like it's already there because I don't want to wait for it. Because this is the one I did the other day, right? I'm pretty sure, except I just don't remember which category it was. So basically it's going to give you this CSV file. It's going to open up. Now, I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't see that, right?
It's small.
Can you see this numbers?
No.
No. Okay. Sorry. That's okay. It's going to open up a numbers or Excel spreadsheet, and then you have to add up the sum of the column that you want. eBay doesn't make it easy, but the information is there. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
All right. So what you're doing is you are looking, once again, I just got to keep this big level because this is the thing when you talk tax, you could go down these rabbit holes and people will be like, whatever. We are just looking at the 1099, which is box 1A, which is comprised of many components that eBay has, right? Like the shipping, and you're looking to break out the shipping, right?
It's right there. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Essentially, okay, because obviously what eBay collected on your behalf for all your sales is not what your income was at all by any stretch of the imagination. There are so many things that you had to pay in the course of your business in order to make all this happen. And one of those things is shipping labels. The other things are the fees that they charge you to be on their platform. The other thing is refunds.
So in that box 1A, there's shipping, right? You're saying
no,
that.
Box 1A is just a gross amount of what eBay collected from you. 1A, yes, it says gross amount of payment card / third party network transactions. That's what it says. Sorry, I can't make it any bigger. I can make it bigger.
Yeah, you're good. All right, we just want to know like what's in there is your sales, what you charge people for shipping.
Yes, that's correct.
Fees.
Yes. No, fees are not actually included in that number. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
The fees are included.
Keep it, so what is the purpose of breaking out the numbers now? Like, so exactly what you can deduct from what your income is. Okay.
Right. Now, if you're doing regular accounting all through the year, you probably have some sort of software or mechanism, whether it's QuickBooks, GoDaddy, My Reseller Genie, something like that, that's tracking these things, your expenses on a regular basis. But some people don't do that on a regular basis. So I was just trying to show where on eBay you actually could get that information because it's there. They have it. If they just don't make it, you have to know how to find it. You have to know how to extract it. When you download that numbers file, that spreadsheet, it's not already going to have a sum of what you're looking for. You actually have to do that yourself. I think that's silly, but that's what it is. So, I mean, that example of that 1099 had a 1099K, sorry, had $152,000 number, right? But that is not the number you would say to the IRS. That was my income. I mean, you could, but you'd be paying a lot more in taxes than you need to.
Right. So what is the number you would tell them it is?
Oh, well, it would be that number minus all your fees, minus your shipping labels, what you paid for your labels, and minus refunds.
Okay.
And that's just platform related.
That's fine.
There's sort of deductions that you can take elsewhere, but this is just related to the sale of your stuff.
Okay. So pretty much those are the three major things that are in that number that you need to extract.
It's not in the number, but you have to take it out of the number.
You have to take it out of that number. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So you have to, I said extract, but you have to have these available so you know exactly what your true income was on that platform.
Exactly right. So like in our case, if I'm not mistaken, when I was doing this, our fees totaled over $41,000. Our shipping labels totaled over $43,000, and and this is combined for both.
Oh, right. Okay.
For both, right? And our returns totaled over $25,000. So you add all that up, and you're taking that off the total number that eBay is telling you on your 1099K.
Right. From box 1A.
Yeah.
Okay. So box 1A needs to have those three major things that you just rattled off, deducted from it to determine what your true income from that platform was. So, okay.
Right. And that's not an exhaustive list. I mean, as you know, everything that you're using in your business, mileage, all these other things are also deductible as well.
Yeah. And we're not going to really get into that because people will say cost of goods, cost of goods sold and mileage. There's a lot of things
that's why you get CPAs.
Right. So, so there's a lot that as the great thing about being a sole proprietor or whatever, S corp or whatever your business is structured as, is there's so many write-offs that come after your gross income that you could write off. So it's the one thing, and we shared this a while back, the one thing that I regret is not having somebody do our taxes for the reselling business sooner. I think, I had done it on TurboTax for a long time, almost 2 decades. And not going to lie, like sometimes you don't know what you can deduct and you feel like you're pushing the envelope.
Right.
And in reality, you're not. When was it? The last year or two, we had somebody professionally doing our taxes for our reselling business, in addition to eBliss. Right. And I just couldn't get over what they were able to do, and it was all legit. I mean, they know more than us. So this is the thing where it pays to outsource to specialists.
Definitely, and it's really. I mean, I was surprised in how not expensive it was. I thought it, and I think that's one of the reasons why we never went that route, because we thought it was going to be so expensive for them to do it, and definitely it wasn't.
And I think prior to that, our record keeping was not that great. We would go at the end of the year, we would look back and try to come up with stuff. So once we incorporated we were incorporating a QuickBooks, which was a more extensive accounting or bookkeeping software. There's other ones that are more reasonable. As you mentioned, My Reseller Genie is a good start to calculate exactly where some of your expenses are, cost of goods sold, and then you could layer in the shipping and stuff from different platforms. So it's taxes stink. I mean, come on, let's be honest. They're boring. It was like one of the worst times of year, and it would just hang over your head, and then you guessed.
Yeah, it was ironically for us, you would put it off, and then we found out we were getting money back. It's like, why did we wait so long?
Yeah, because you psych yourself out because you're like, oh, what has a tendency to happen is resellers look at their gross sales each month, each week, each day, and they're like, "Oh, how much did you do today? I did 500 in sales today." And they, in their mind, they just tally it up. Well, if I do X amount times 365 days a year, that's my income on eBay. No, that's not the case at all. But we have a tendency, like you see it all the time on social media. It's like, "Oh, I made $1 million on eBay."
You grossed,
Yeah,
maybe.
your gross sales, which is not your income. So
No.
this is big picture, just general stuff. Like, you did not make $1 million on eBay. You sold $1 million worth of
Hmm.
products, but then you have to figure in cost of goods sold, all the fees you paid for the platform, the shipping. Now I wonder what Poshmark would look like. Their 1099. We never received one because we were never on that platform,
Mm-mm.
because you're not buying shipping labels.
Doesn't matter. Shipping labels are not on that. That's not part of the number.
Yeah. Okay,
It's the
but
shipping that you charge to buyers. Now, that would
yeah.
not be in their number because
Hmm.
that you're not, that's like what that would be the equivalent in my mind. Could be wrong, but the equivalent of how eBay handles taxes for us, because it's something that never goes through us. They
Oh,
handle
okay.
it. So it's
Hmm.
not part of the total number, because otherwise you would have to take that back out too.
So I
And it
wonder if
never goes through us, so that's why it's not there.
so is eBay unique? You think? I mean, you don't have to answer. You may not know the answer. Is eBay the only platform that really has this type of complexity with backing out, call it the fees and the
Um,
shipping?
I don't think so. I think it's a standard thing.
Okay.
It's a standard part of reselling.
Right.
And the only difference is that it used to be whatever the opposite of netting things are. The
Mm.
opposite of netting is. And I think actually eBay was the last one of the last platforms to get into that, like,
Oh, right.
on that
Yeah.
bandwagon.
With
And
managed
people,
payments. Right.
yeah, and a lot of people, fought it tooth and nail, but it's
Yeah.
like I would hear all the time, well, that's how everybody else does it.
So, big picture once again, this is just like, you may want to just invest a couple $100. I don't see it being more than $1,000 to get your taxes done on a
Oh, it
small
wasn't
level
for
like this.
us. It
Right.
wasn't.
So, yeah, so it's worth it just to have someone, and I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm so cheap as a reseller, right? But for $500 a year to have somebody do your taxes, I guarantee you're going to get that back in deductions and such, on your return. They're going to
Right.
be creative. They know what to do, and there's plenty of people out there. This is not a plug for anybody in particular, but if you wanted the names of a couple people we're aware that are popular in the reselling community, you could reach out to us. We're not affiliates at all, but we could kind of give you a name or two if you're looking for help.
Right. But actually, if you think about it, the primary reason why we didn't get somebody to do our taxes earlier is because we weren't organized. We weren't using QuickBooks. We were not using anything. And so in order to like bring our business to somebody, they were going to be like, where's your information? Like,
I know. Yeah.
what do we have to work with here? And that's how I
Hmm.
felt. Like we didn't have anything to bring to them because we weren't really doing it the
Right.
way we should from an accounting standpoint.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
So that's
so
that.
it starts with your accounting,
Right.
and it could be, I think that was the thing. Like, we were like, at least I was ashamed. Like, I can't believe I don't really know the cost of goods sold on every item, but you don't necessarily need to.
No.
There's accounting ways, accrual, cash accounting and stuff.
Yeah.
Boring. Let's not go down that route, please. That was a different lifetime. I'm done with that. So you're not a tax person, and it's kind of new to you, all
Well, it's
this.
not
But
my
yeah,
history. No, definitely not.
one thing I've noticed, over the years, when it comes to accounting, taxes,
Hmm.
people know enough to be dangerous. And what happens
Yeah.
is they start talking about it, and it's like, you're wrong. Like, everybody goes that to a certain point where it's like, that's incorrect. And that's enough to say, like, don't listen, don't watch YouTube for tax advice, please. Seriously, get
Yeah, and we're not
somebody
giving
to.
tax advice at all, just to be completely transparent about that. We're just telling you what our experience and what we know of our stuff here.
Boom. Patrick, another Patrick. We have two Patricks here today. Patrick says, I'm a part-time reseller and I paid $175 for my accountant and $10 a month for GoDaddy bookkeeping. It's worth every penny to sleep well. Can I say amen to that? I I agree. Patrick, you nailed it. It's worth every penny. It's an investment. Once again, resellers don't like to invest in their business, but this is probably the best investment you can make for hey, if you do get audited, you have your accountant to lean on, as opposed to, oh, I did my taxes on my own, I'm getting audited, help. And then you're reaching out to a totally different group. Another Patrick hops in and says, why, hello. Yes, Patrick Murphy is here. Hello, and light up that thumbs up. And everyone in here, just subscribe. Purpose of these reseller insight YouTubes is really just to brainstorm, get some, I call it accountability, but people want to bounce stuff off of each other. Everyone in this chat is knowledgeable about reselling. Follow them, follow everybody on Instagram. Same with us, eBliss Reseller on Instagram. Ask us anything. If we don't know, we'll pass you on to somebody that does. And here's another. It's all about record keeping. So true. Even with the CPA, you still have to give them the correct numbers, which is true. Keeping up on your account regularly is key to making tax time easier. So you want to talk about that a little bit? What you do with QuickBooks? Like, how often are you? Because I know, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. When we first started QuickBooks, it was an everyday thing. Every single day I was in there and I was putting everything where it goes, and it was all good. And our accountant meets with us once a month to go over everything, make sure everything is reconciled. Like, I do my own reconciling, but if it's a little confusing for us because we have the two businesses, and sometimes things crisscross and then it gets a little confusing. So it's a little more complicated than most people, but they help us with that, and it's really helpful. But I have to admit, I said to myself, I haven't been in the QuickBooks in a while. I probably should go in there and start cleaning things up.
It's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
Probably. Not that I know what that is.
Right. Yeah,
But
but it's totally true. You got to keep records one way or the other. That's for sure. We
well,
missed one note. I just wanted to say
oh yeah, sure.
that Christy mentioned it's
Yeah.
that's Mark II, right?
Yes, it
I
is.
believe, not your
Right.
dad's CPA. He's one potential pretty good
Yeah.
referral we could
Yeah.
recommend for, because I think he specializes in resellers, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
yeah, totally. We know somebody very close that is a reseller. He does his QuickBooks every day, right? Didn't
yeah.
he say he spends almost an hour each day, or I don't know, but
Well,
it
he
really
said no.
comes.
Well, he said he reconciles every day, which I thought was kind of weird. I think
Okay.
he was using the wrong terminology, but
Oh, all right. So that's pretty much it. Tax time, boring, come on,
necessary.
but necessary and worth the investment. Seriously,
Yeah.
if you're going to go out and buy somebody in this room, I'm going to pick on her. You're going to go buy a Rollo printer, which we just did over the weekend, and so did Shay. But seriously, like, if you're going to go buy a printer or whatever type of equipment, you're better off also getting an accountant to make sure things are good, because when you have your own business, and this could be the first time a lot of people are starting their own business, you are a higher audit risk most of the time, because there's a lot that could be abused. And so she says hello. She says hello and LOL. It's so true. Like, Shay bought a Rollo printer over the weekend, and she's all excited and saying, I was like, yeah, we just bought one too. Like, I don't want to go on a printer tangent, but like, we quickly spend like $200 on equipment and items and inventory. And if you look at it, if you can't take out $400 or $500 to make sure your books are in order, it could get stressful, and you're going to get it back. There's no doubt they find ways to get that back.
Yeah.
So that's that. We said we were going to try to keep this to 20 minutes to a half an hour. And as you could tell, we are right at a half an hour with taxes. So
Cool. On to the next.
yes, Patrick, a Rollo thermal is my next business. What did you get, and where did you buy it?
Well, we already have two Zebra 450 ZPs or something like that.
Zebra ZP 450s.
Right. We have two of those. Those are what we use for shipping. We got the Rollo, actually not even to use to ship. We got the Rollo to create stickers for our outgoing packages.
Yeah.
So, and it'll be a backup for
Yeah.
shipping.
We've had we've had what's it called? The zebras for years.
Mm-hmm.
We get the thermal stuff in a roll,
Mm-hmm.
and
They're workhorses.
oh my
They
goodness,
really
those
are.
things are. I
They
love when I
just, yeah.
mhm. When I hear those being kicked off, it's like the same thing as a cha-ching on your eBay. I'm like, bzz, bzz. Christy wants to know, did you get the wireless one?
Yes, we did.
Oh,
And I had to get the wireless one for the purpose that why we were using it, because I want it to be a backup for if the zebras ever go down, and I want to use it myself. So it might be literally in different places in our warehouse. So I didn't want it to be tied to one computer.
okay. And then Shay was saying she got hers on Amazon. Did we go right through
I
Rolo?
think yeah, believe it or not, I went right to Rolo. I don't know why.
Okay. So
Yeah.
she has the, I guess,
The wired version,
right.
which, by the way, I think I read that they're creating an adapter to make the wired one wireless. And I think they said it was only going to be like $50, but they're having issues getting the materials.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she was definitely pumped. So, all right. So our reselling business, we kind of were like, let's ease off the pedal a little bit, in terms of buying inventory, because sales were down. We're like, hey, the cash isn't there, but we have, call it our own death pile with our reselling stuff. So we were doing that, but I went out. I've been sourcing. I've been going to the bins a little bit more. Went out to the flea market, where I haven't been out there for 3 or 4 months, and I went out there this past Sunday.
This is the Mile High Flea Market.
Denver Mile High Flea Market. I love it. I mean, it's a great place. It's a great place to find stuff. The vibe I got out there was different. I mean, when you take a couple months off and you go back, you kind of sense like, the sellers out there are kind of keen on what things are valued at right now. I think people are really scrutinizing. There's a lot of reselling platforms out there. Facebook Marketplace is huge. I think a lot of people, I mean, it seems like everybody's on Facebook except me personally, but it's so easy to just throw something in there on Facebook Marketplace and hope for the sale.
Sure.
And before I get into the haul, hello, Danica. We met Danica in Vegas.
Oh,
yes.
so
Lori,
funny how you know everybody's names. I don't know. I'm like, I have no idea.
Well, I kind of know their names. I almost called her Lady Luck, but I knew it was Danica, thankfully. I mean, but people don't care. People could call me, hey, Mr. Ebelis. I'll be like, hello. You don't need to know my name, except it's always up on the screen. So I was out at the flea market, and so many questions coming in. We're going to have, I have to, okay. This is the thing with ADD, right? I got to back off.
It's okay. We have time. Don't worry.
All right. So you bring them. You're responsible for addressing those, because I'm going to start bringing stuff in.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. So the whole sharing screen is always fun and a challenge, because I have to stall and talk as I bring stuff in.
I had the same problem,
but
you did a better job than I am doing for you. So
all right, here we go. So now I brought this screen up so I can't see myself. So flea market. Go ahead.
If you go back to the other tab, you can.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. So this is bread and butter. When I go out to the flea market, I walk up and down the aisles real quick, and it's like I could just spot things that we have sold. So I'm out there to really cherry pick things that we sell, that we know and we've sold for a long time. And it's just like, if I can, I'll bundle things up at a vendor, make a pile and be like, hey, what do you think? This and that. And there's different strategies to doing that. I'm not looking for treasure. I'm just looking for value. So I found this. Yeah, big deal. It's a Nintendo GameCube, right? Controller. These things went up in price. Remember, we would sell these like 2 years ago for $23.
Really?
So now they're like 40 with the shipping. So $35 plus $6 shipping. All right. So here is the item. Okay, I'm going to post on Instagram. You're going to love this one. I'm going to post a story this afternoon. These things are so grubby. Gamers have dirty fingers. I can tell you that much. Like, look at this. I don't know if I cleaned this pretty well.
Yeah.
Smells like
alcohol.
Windex. It smells like. I mean, I love cleaning everything with Windex, because I know the whatever burns off, but still smells good. So cleaned it up, tied it up nicely. This is not our listing right there, but I just processed this today, and I'm gonna, we'll sell for close to $37, let's just say, including shipping. So there you go, bread and butter. This is our processing sheet. I always bring these up. Can you see that, or a little bit?
If you put it closer, it would be easier to see.
All right.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Sloppy chicken scratch handwriting.
It's very true. And a minimalistic approach to the form.
Tested works great for everything.
Oh.
Returns accepted.
Yeah.
So these are our processing sheets. So I did stories about these. This helps us list faster. Lori and I don't list. Our son, we have 3 listers. And what we do is I'll bring up this item you see on the screen. I'll copy the eBay item number up here. So our lister, all they have to do is type in the search bar that item number right there. So this listing will pop up. They will sell similar, and then they will go down, read my chicken scratch, find out what I say they should sell it at. What else? Shipping. All these little standard, like used, tested.
Because we use for now, I don't know how long we'll be able to do it, but we use not templates, but they're advanced, the editing, like in the description, there are templates. We use those to describe our items according to the severity of the use. Like if it's hardly used, a lot of wear, the wear and tear of the item.
Yeah, I mean, we have the ability. So when you do these sheets, it allows you to outsource to someone else to do the listing. So I always say, as thrifters, resellers, we have such a database in our head where we know, hey, here I go again with the free people. I always go free. That's a true religion jeans. They go for like $45, whatever. You have to translate that to a listing. How do you do that? You can't just hand them off to somebody and let them guess. So that's why we came up with these sheets, and it allows people to do that. We've had the same lister that comes in during the night, list anywhere from 50 to 80 a week, and really is efficient.
Almost 4 years now, right?
Almost 4 years, yeah. And he could do 8 to 10. An hour?
At least 10, usually.
Yeah. And, hey, it's because of this, and it's because he knows how to list. So I love it. That's enough preaching for me with that and the sheets. But $40, which used to be $24 like 2 years ago. So it's like within $2, how much did I pay for this at the flea market?
Oh, was it part of a bundle, or did you buy it one-off?
Well, it was kind of like a one-off. Like he was like, blank.
I bet
for
you
this.
paid $10 for that.
On the money. Go buy a lottery ticket today. $10. Right. So $10, and I was bundling too. So I'll get into this. Another one. Got another one with it. I bundled 2 of these together. This is the black version. Same thing. According to my processing sheet, this is, $29 plus $8 shipping. That's what I'm going to do for this. So look at that, man. Little grubby thumbs were all over this. These are 20 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This is GameCube.
I know.
Wasn't
They're popular. Those
90s?
vintage. Well, I think it's vintage, right?
Yeah, because
those games, yeah, they're popular.
because
But
the
go
Wii consoles we sell have a port to put these in. Like you could play GameCube games. That's why it's popular. Go ahead.
Makes sense. No, I was just curious because if you knew that those only sold for like $23 last year, were you looking like why did you even like? I think you would have passed that up. Like, oh, these don't sell for enough, but because they've changed in price. How did you figure that out?
I knew they were going up, and I knew there was a high demand. All the gaming stuff has gone up. The Wii consoles that I used to buy at the flea market for $10 just for the console now sell for high 40s just for the console. It's just odd. It's just everyone's really into this stuff. So
yeah,
you're talking to the wrong person. I think Atari 2600 was like when I stopped playing.
I know, right?
People don't even know what that is in this room.
I know.
Old.
So
All
while
right.
you're getting the next one ready here, I
Yeah.
was just going to address a question that
All right. Cool.
SSK Promo asked. And he asked if, can you talk about how we're using the Rolo to help your shipping, not postage labels? Well, we haven't gotten it yet. We just ordered it. I think it might be here any day. But we're planning to use it to create stickers, actually. For promotional reasons or advertising reasons for eBliss. So potentially going to have our label, maybe a QR code or something, just to increase the visibility on our actual packages, because we know that some of the buyers of our clients are actually resellers themselves. So we're just that's why the purpose was to buy it. But I know we could use it as a backup for shipping if the zebras ever go down. So
Nice.
yeah.
All right, I'm going to share another screen. So the same guy, I was there at his table. This is where bundling, it just overall, it just reduces your average cost of goods sold per item totally. Rather than, me just be like, hey man, how much you want for this? He goes, oh, 10. I already knew he said 10 on these. So I'm like, let me throw in a couple other additional things. So these right here, Laura.
Yeah. The Wiimotes.
Yeah, Wiimotes. Yeah, good call. I call them Wii remotes, but you call them, they're actually Wiimotes. You're right. So the difference, these are just not standard Wiimotes. These, as I bring it forward, you
The
see that
Motion
kind of,
Plus.
that
Yeah.
thing, this right here, this arc thing, it says Wii Motion Plus inside. These are more than the typical, Wii's Wiimotes that came out initially. These are, now if you see there, like, call it 30 $30, right? And that comes with a nunchuck, and it also comes with
A cover.
the silicone sleeve. Now we have tons of those. I find nunchucks like crazy in the bins. They don't really have any value of themselves, but when you combine them together, you can bundle it up nicely. And you could see right here, this middle, the key right there is, this is a great title, whoever did this. I like this. OEM, because there are some knockoffs. Nintendo Wii remotes and nunchuck bundle. All right. Bundle is the key that eBay wants. When you put more than one thing together, bundle is huge, and they want that. So that's a good title. I like it. Do you like it?
Even though, well, the only problem with it is OEM should not be first. Not at all.
Okay. How would you redo that title?
Well, I would put OEM later on in the title. I would not put it in the front.
Well, we could go back and ask one of our loyal viewers, Patrick, who we had a discussion, remember, a couple of weeks ago, talking about OEM and all that stuff.
Well, whether it's OEM, original, whatever that adjective, the brand or what it is more important.
So those two, okay. So I got two of those. Now the other stuff. So this is like, these are $25 each. I got them for like $5, whatever each. That's what it's all about, right? Bundling. But I was going to say, like, that's what jumped out to me, because a month or two ago, people were just like, give me $3 each for those. I'm like, great. $3 into 30 all day long, bread and butter. That's what we do. That's our reselling business. We are not looking for grand slams.
Yeah, I mean, our profit margin on each of those items is not really that high. We have to sell a lot of them, though.
Yeah, we do. I'm going to bring something pretty cool that we have never sold before until.
While you do that, I'll just bring up, Christy was wondering if you mentioned our lister, who we've had for almost 4 years, if he does cross-listing platform for you too. No, because we don't list anywhere other than eBay at the moment. So the answer is yes, he just lists to eBay. So
nice. All right, here is something totally new to us. I've never seen this before.
I don't think I have either. Digital flash voice recorder.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, you really almost can't go wrong with a lot of Sony.
Exactly, that's true. So here we go. I'm gonna go back. Hold on. Processing sheet, yada yada yada. Did the whole bringing up the thing. What I found interesting is there were only like maybe 3 of these sold, and there's 6 listed. and this is a completed that was sold, $85 including shipping. What's cool about this is it's such a unique item. Anytime I see something small, especially Sony, anything small electronic, unique that I haven't seen, just look it up. I mean, the model number is right on the back. It's so easy just to, discreetly at the flea market, type it in and be like, pretty good. I'll take it. I did a bundle technique or tactic or whatever you want to call it. Of course, I took the shiny object, which was the TI-84 Plus pink calculator, which I didn't get. So
because he wanted too much for it.
I knew that was the shiny object. So what I typically do is I'll take something like that people know is like it sells for $60, right? Mm-hmm. And then I threw in this and a couple other smaller things. I said, "Oh, how much for this?" And I think they said, "Well, 40 for this, and then 10 for this and 10 for the other thing." And I'm like, "Oh, I love that." I said, I kind of love that when they individually price things, because if they said like, "Oh, 60 for everything," I'd be like, then you have to extract to get to find out.
Even though it's the same?
I may not have wanted the calculator, so I kind of throw that shiny object in and then I pull it out. So that then what's left is like, oh, I'll take 20. So I got two things for 20 that I gave $20 for that I probably, could get like 120 for. So that was fun.
And now that's though probably because he didn't know what he had there, right? Maybe.
Oh,
that little Sony thing.
He
didn't know what he had. He didn't look it up. He didn't say, "Oh, this is $85 worth," and try to get that or even close from you. Yeah. But you looked it up, so you knew. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just want to say hi to Kristen. Hung out with Kristen at the bins yesterday in Denver. She said, "Hey, let's do a thrifting challenge. We have an hour to find whoever could find the highest priced item that's under $10. That's $10. Like, in other words, if you buy
can't
something,
spend more than $10.
Can't spend, wins. You know what? She won. I lost." Because I'm a bread and butter type of guy. 2030, she found $80 Sorel boots. I'm like,
guess it wasn't a good day for electronics there.
Right. I needed at least 3 more hours to maybe win. S, beat out a bunt, a single. Hustle. You got it. A bunt is a single in the books. And Tommy says, "Yep, he just woke up in time for eBay camp." I know that's an inside joke. No camps here. No camp. Oh, I'm sorry, Kristen. Okay, scratch that. That was a spoiler for next week. Anyway, sorry. It was good footage. It was fun. We had a good time. I was dancing in the parking lot. I think she got me on camera. I don't know.
You were dancing?
Yeah, I had a nice Americano cup of coffee, large. I was fired up. 8:00 in the morning. I was ready to go. Yeah, Tommy. No, eBay camp. Got to watch the replay. I know what he's talking about, which is funny. So check this out. This item right here, $75 plus $10 shipping, 85, little Sony transcriber. I was playing it early, and it has stuff on that on it, which is really creepy.
You're gonna remove it, right? Before we list it.
What? What? Darn.
What was creepy?
Just hearing other people's voices on these things.
Should be very easy to delete, though, shouldn't it?
Time is money. I'm busy. That's the difference. Lori would be like, "Oh, that's why I'm able to process 20 things an hour." So anyway, so check this out. So I was like, all right, 3 of these have sold. 8 are currently for sale. The lowest, I don't want to bring up the screen, but the lowest, current price for this is close to $79, right? But I was like, let me go to our secret stash of goodies that I gobble from the bins over the years. Obviously, I'm going to throw in a charging cord, which is not a big deal. I mean, these are all over the place. Mm-hmm. People love that. I'm going to throw in a little brick charger, wall brick, not a big deal. Bin fine. Also found these just Sony earbuds found in the bins. To sell these individually, It's only $8, and that doesn't meet our criteria. You and I, we sell things. It has to be 25 and above because of the time. So I'm like, I'll throw these in. What's funny is there's a sticker on the back, probably from like 1995, from $21. So so look at that. So you put this in a listing, people will be like, hey man, I'm getting everything. That guy's gonna get or that gal's gonna
So
get
you're differentiating
my
yourself
cash. Yeah,
compared to what else
totally.
is out there. So
Yeah.
ours looks like better.
And I think about that too. I think I know Tommy does a lot of shoes, sneakers. I always wondered if with insoles, like I know people are very particular with insoles, but maybe you could get like a cheap pair of generic insoles for $1 or something, like massively buy them. And if you put them with a sneaker, maybe people be like, hey, I'm getting more for my money, sneaker plus insoles. But as long as you say like cheap garbage insoles, in the item description, no,
That's good.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
I overthink this stuff. So
Yeah. Well, sometimes.
yeah, so that's a perfect example of a bundle. Now the key is I put bundle in our processing sheet. I said, hey, for our lister, he's going to have to type the word bundle, and that'll stand out. So this person is going to get 4 items as opposed to just one lame picture of this.
So it looks like everybody else's.
Yeah, on a bedspread. Asking $85.
Is that what that is? A bedspread?
Well, I don't know what it is, but you need the white background. So pretty cool stuff. I have one more thing. Oh, actually, I don't have this on the screen, but a couple weeks back. Remember this camera? Oh, there we go. Thanks.
Yeah. Did we sell that before?
Yes.
Looks familiar.
I bought this from somebody in the parking lot of a Goodwill, or shady transactions going on. That's my middle name. I just, it was purchased. It wasn't stolen. But they found it in the bin. They're like, hey man, you want to buy it? This is a while back. I bought another one like this. And I sold it pretty much working condition. And you know what happened, right?
I was going to say, I think it sold on my account.
Right. So
yeah.
It got returned.
Yes.
I forget what happened, but I pieced these out. This is a Nikon 1 J1. So once again, we've sold these in the past. I'm going to sell these separately.
But one of them doesn't work.
No, that was the previous one we sold.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I thought that was the same one.
No, I bought this at the flea market for $50. It was from somebody I know. I sometimes I just got to take care of people, I know we could probably get like a 150 for all this. Who knows? Something like that. But cross our fingers. Worst comes to worst, you break even. No big deal. But this is a pretty cool camera. Came with a bag, battery, charger, the whole bit. That was a shiny object. That's a thing. At the flea market, I'm getting sucked into buying these what's it called? Shiny object, which is I don't want to get into. You love sourcing, don't you?
That's a rhetorical question. I tolerate it. I don't, I got into reselling with you, but wouldn't consider myself a real reseller. You're the real reseller.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like it's not like I don't think I ever would have gotten into it. Put it this way, I don't think I would have ever gotten into it if it hadn't been hadn't been in it.
Yep, it's so true.
Yeah.
But why'd you get into it?
Well, because I thought I could help.
And you definitely did.
I know I did.
Just as a backstory, Lori, okay. Kristen, I know you're in here. We were at the bins yesterday. If you went to the bins and you saw someone with a desk set up with their own scale, with a notepad, with eye goggles, that's Lori. That's
he's
how
not
you
wrong.
And I love it. He's amazing.
Not wrong. The first thing I would do when I went to the bins was get my seat, get my table, set my whole thing up, get all my bins ready, and then I would go look for stuff.
It is. I want to address some of these comments. Look at this. Okay. We have to go way back.
Yeah, sorry. Well, you were talking a lot. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, all right. Well, Krista says you to crack me up. We have fun, honestly. Like Tommy says, if you're not having fun doing this, you may not want to be doing it, type of deal. Tommy says, you ever see that case a while back? A guy found an SD card, on the ground, and it had murder evidence. No, evidence.
Oh boy,
You just reminded me.
that's why you should delete what's on that thing.
Sometimes I do check the SD cards. Thankfully, I didn't find anything nasty.
Yeah, they should be cleared off. That's just gross.
I know. A good friend that we know by the name of Larry sometimes finds SD cards with like, wow.
Ugh.
Right. And Kristen just says, Lori, your hair looks great as
thank you.
always. Got such a fan club. I love it.
Mm.
And Tommy was saying he does sell them without insoles a lot. Most runners toss them and buy custom insoles.
I could see that.
Yeah, totally. Especially he's selling quality. He's not selling junk.
Right.
Like Kohl's Sonoma brand or anything like that. And then S says, as a seller, I bundle, but it seems it only works if the bundle is the buyer's idea. Huh. Yeah, that's true. It depends on the
Anything to
price.
set yourself apart.
Yep. That was so sweet, Lori. Yep, indeed. And Tommy's right. It is just a business for you, Lori. No attachment.
I mean, there's the front end of the business and there's the back end of the business. I enjoy the back end of the business more than the front end, and Dave enjoys the front end more. So it works out really well.
It is. And even when you would go sourcing, you would bring home a cart for yourself and a cart to resell. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. I had separate bags. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. That takes a while to get over. It's like I stopped looking at that. Even though this is from the bins, I've had this for I need some new wardrobe. I can't pay retail though. Chrissy just says, want to help. You got a good one here, Dave. Yep. Coke dealer. Right. Lori is boss. We know. Without a doubt. Go back and, whatever. Honestly, if this is gushy, but if you weren't part of the business, it wouldn't be successful. I mean, it would be okay. I mean,
well, you were successful up to a point by yourself. You built it. You laid a really good foundation. But then we took it to the next level.
Yeah. And that's where I always say, there are resellers and there are business-minded resellers. I think I was a business-minded reseller without the discipline to make sure the back end was tight.
Totally. And that's just your personality. I don't think you never would have probably excelled in that area.
It's just, to me, it's like I got away from that to enjoy the front end of, sourcing and all that stuff. It's awesome. So,
yeah.
And I saw this firsthand yesterday. Yes, Kristen. Wonderful.
I would actually have 3 piles. The third pile was, I would source stuff for the office.
Oh yeah. Post-it notes, everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Totally. Right. So that was, I'm going to bring up this last thing I have on the screen. Might as well talk about it.
Okay.
Another Sony item, flea market table. You could just imagine this on the ground at a flea market or on a table. Someone knows this was okay. They put a rubber band around it, whatever. $10. And I didn't even have to really look it up, to be honest with you. I knew this was legit, and we had sold it before.
Uh-huh.
What is it again?
I believe it's so that you can make a non-wireless TV, the Bravia. Yeah, wireless. It's a LAN. You can make it wireless. It's a wireless adapter.
Right. So same thing. $8 turn into 40. That's what we do. Tommy's question: would it matter what business it was? Could you enjoy any business running the back end?
Probably. Probably, because I'm not attached to the front end as much. I mean, it was good that I learned it for sure, and I had to in order to do what I'm doing now. But I don't know. Wouldn't be as much fun though, because if you weren't there, then it wouldn't be as much fun.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, my dad, I told you what he said about you. When he was talking to, he goes, if I ever owned a business, I would want Lori to run it. This was to our boss. Lori and I are working with somebody. He
said that to our boss.
Our boss. He
Uh-huh.
said that if I had a business, I want Lori to run it. It's the truth. I mean, yeah. Um, I think you would. There's components about certain business, like the business that you don't really like. Well, reselling, it's obvious you don't like the, you know, that kind of stuff.
I don't mind reselling. I just don't
How
get
about
the thrill out of sourcing that you do.
all right? What about a restaurant? Could you run a restaurant without?
I would need to have people know, like, I would need somebody else to know how the ins and outs of the business.
Oh
But
yeah,
I'm sure I could
yeah.
manage it from a higher level. But
Hmm.
somebody, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of a restaurant business, so that would
Right.
be difficult. But if as long as somebody else was there, and you and I kind of know the ins and outs of the reselling business because we did it.
Hmm.
So
All right. Well, that's why you're the CEO of eBliss.
you say that all the time, but I don't understand that.
I'm the CVO. I'm the chief visionary, the dreamer.
Is that a thing?
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
I think a lot of people, especially resellers, have, they're a unique breed. And I think a lot of them love that thinking, the strategy. It's like, it's a game. Like I told you, like I played so much softball growing up, all that sports. I lost all that once it became a reseller because reselling
Well, it's
just
competitive for
contains it all.
you to some degree,
Yeah. Speaking of
right?
competitive, yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Speaking of yesterday at the bins, I saw a Bose remote. I lunged for it and I like bumped into somebody. It was so embarrassing. I didn't get it. I was like, whoop. It was one of those.
What kind of remote? Bose? Oh, a good one of the big white
Yeah.
ones.
No, well, it was a $40 Bose remote.
Oh,
I didn't get, but oh well. Can't win them all. That's the thing about the bins. You covet everybody else's stuff. Dave, how often do you go to flea market?
he would go
Probably once a
every.
month.
He would go
Oh,
every week if he could.
back in the day, I remember I said
There
I
was a
could
time
spend.
where you were going almost every
Yeah,
week, maybe twice a weekend,
yeah. I was saying I could spend $2,000 a weekend out there.
easily. But you have a lot of
Yeah.
friends there too, so you hang out. I would go every once in a while for the kettle corn
Oh yeah. I'm telling you,
and the
30.
slushies or whatever
Oh
they
yeah,
sell.
35 minutes into it, Lori's like, I need a kettle corn and a slushy. I'll be like, all right, I'll see you.
I'm good for 2 hours, and I'm like done.
Yeah. So speaking of like Shay, she's getting into eBay. We had her on. It was very. She's learning the front and the back end. If you could do both, I know a couple people in this room can. It takes a lot. I mean, it really, you have to enjoy it. It takes a lot. Um, so we're over an hour. We like to keep it to an hour. Thank you, everyone. Very kind. Everybody coming in. The first 30 minutes were all kind of textbook.
Taxes.
It was like eBay camp, as Tommy was saying. It was all, the eBay 1099K form, and what you should really be aware of. What's it really telling you? And the thing is, it's not telling you in the box 1A like you made this amount. And a lot of people stop right there to get sloppy. They're like, "Oh, eBay told me I made $100,000," when in essence you really did not.
Or they get confused as to what's actually included in that number.
Mm-hmm. Gonna bring this one last. Tommy says, "I need a Lori, LOL. I'm so bad at keeping up with the back end that if I ran on small margins, I would sink. I have to elevate the front end substantially." You know,
There's so much. There is. It's a lot to know, especially if you're adding more platforms, as most people do.
but so many resellers, and Larry in particular, Laura, he would say, "You know what? You don't." I'm going to paraphrase. You don't get rich on saving a couple nickels here and there, and I understand, like when you have an established, mature business, you can those nickels and dimes you save, they're automatic savings. So that's one way to improve your bottom line, your net income. But I think that's the thing, like Tommy was saying right here, it's like sometimes you could teeter on focusing too on the minutia, like how much you spend on every item, like so transaction oriented, but like he was saying, maybe having somebody like what's it called? Like a good, CFO, somebody to run your operations, like, it could be pretty good. I got distracted. Krista said, Lori, you using a new mic? Sounds good. Oh,
No, I'm just making sure I'm really close to it because I've been told I need to be closer to it. So, yeah, but it actually is a new mic. It's a Shure.
How much was that mic? Oh,
MV7, I believe it is. I'm not going to tell you how much it was. It was my Christmas present.
This guy knows how much they are. He brought that up. He brought up a term. He goes, audio listener or audio fatigue. If your mic is not, full or crisp or pleasing, people will just tune out. Now he has, I'm pretty sure he has a Shure, but he has it on one of those boom arms.
Yeah, we might have to look into getting that. Otherwise, because I have to practically,
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's in the shot or not. I have no idea.
We don't have boom arms, so you could hear this.
Stop.
Bang it on there. Was that loud?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you have a boom arm. It's like you could, mess around with it.
True.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely a good mic. She has the Shure. I have the Blue Yeti, which under $100, right?
I think so. It's not a bad one.
No, it's not that bad.
It's better with more than we've found. It's better with more than one person because you don't have to be right on top of it. So if we're together doing something, we probably should be using your microphone.
Put the Amazon link in the description.
I think I got it on eBay actually. It's an MV7 Shure mic.
We buy everything on eBay.
Almost.
Yesterday I did an Instagram story about, hey, we just got all this Poshmark tape for our eBliss repertoire, and people are like, oh, where'd you get it? I'm like,
Oh, you
eBay.
got that on eBay?
Yeah, I'm buying Poshmark tape for eBliss off of eBay. Come on, man, you can't beat eBay. I love it. All right, well, have a good one, everybody. Thanks for hopping in. We had fun. Always good to chat because we love having an audience. Otherwise, Lori and I just talk to each other.
Well, that's what we do anyway. So.
Right. All right. Have a good one, everybody, and
we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
All right.